After a decade of production hurdles, we finally got to see the Halo TV series on our screens earlier this year. However, it didn't take long for the hype to deflate as some bizarre story choices left the fans wondering whether the show was even worthy of bearing the Halo name. And if you're one of those people, then the series producer has all of the answers for us. So let's get straight into it. First up, Halo Season 2 will learn from the first season's mistakes. Halo's first season was muddled in controversy, as the show's direction just didn't make sense for fans of the franchise. And even when the showrunners gave everyone a heads up that this wasn't gonna follow the video game canon, people still didn't react well to it. After all, Halo's got a certain character about it that you've gotta emulate in any form of adaptation, which the show seemingly failed at. In fact, at times, it almost felt like a generic sci-fi series more than anything. Now, with it finally coming out in the UK as well, we've got some insight from the series producer Kiki Wolfkill about what went wrong and what we could expect from the future. According to her, the studio's still getting feedback, and it's been interesting to parse through all the negative and positive information to figure out what resonates with fans and what doesn't. Speaking to Games Radar, she said that they're gonna carry forward all of the season's learnings into Season 2, and assured the fans that they're definitely looking at all valid criticisms of the show. As a matter of fact, she even hinted at fans' opinions playing a part in shaping how the story pans out. Apart from that, Wolfkill also touched upon the fact that they made some choices during pre-production that sparked up a debate between the writers themselves. Oh, and you'd be surprised to know that it wasn't about Chief taking off his helmet or hooking up with an alien. Instead, it was about merging the timeline of the insurrection with the Covenant War. For context, in the video game canon, these two events take place about 3 decades apart from each other. However, according to Wolfkill, this decision added socio-political dynamics of the colonies and the UNSC's role within that, which wasn't really much of a thing in the games. And to be fair, this wasn't one of those things that got overly criticized over the internet. If anything, it was actually one of the more enjoyable parts of the show. Next, where did the Halo show go wrong? It's true that Halo didn't turn out to be what the fans were asking for, but you can't write the entire series off either. Like, it actually had some pretty decent moments in it, like that fight on the Covenant planet at the end, or the Spartans' performances. And despite the fact that the CGI looked a bit off at times, it certainly wasn't because of a low budget. In fact, Halo's budget was actually on the higher end, almost touching the super expensive shows like Stranger Things. That's the problem though. Brief flashes of brilliance just aren't good enough for a franchise as big as Halo. And it's not a TV show problem either, as the game's been suffering from a similar fate lately. Plus, it almost felt like the show kept digging into a hole every single week. For instance, who thought it would be a good idea to make Chief hook up with a Covenant spy? Oh, there's this one scene where he puts on his helmet, drives a warthog for 30 seconds, and then takes it off again, which honestly perfectly encapsulates everything that's wrong with the show. There's this lingering feeling of the show veering off in the most random directions at times whenever it's building up towards something greater. Take the final arc of the season, for example. Why didn't that massive energy field from the artifact, or Maquis' escape, trigger the fall of Reach? Also, why did the UNSC send its literal hope for survival on a suicide mission? Like, you get the point, right? There's never any satisfying resolution to any conflict, and it's almost like every decision made is a lever that forces the plot to move forward. Kinda like pushing a square peg through a round hole. It's not like the showrunners aren't taking note though. In fact, most of the cast and the writers have already come out and said that they're gonna take all this feedback into the second season. Besides, season 1's ending did set up things pretty nicely for a banger of a follow-up, provided that we actually get to go on a Halo ring and see events that are parallel to Combat Evolved. And now, Halo will continue to expand as as a franchise. Of course, the journey to the first season hasn't been easy for Halo, and it's been canceled so many times over the past decade that it had almost started to feel like a pipe dream. However, now that the showrunners have actually established a foundation and have gotten season 1 out of the door, it seems like the pipeline from this point's gonna be much smoother. According to Wolfkill, they're already deep into the creative work for season 2, and they're hoping to start production later this year as well. So in theory, we shouldn't have to wait very long to actually get a glimpse at where Master Chief and Cortana go next. But that's really just the beginning for the Halo team. Apparently, they're trying to follow Halo Infinite and build a quote-unquote endless platform with infinite opportunities for storytelling. What's interesting about it is the fact that this doesn't necessarily have to be limited to a live-action show. In fact, they're very open to the idea of a Halo animated series, or even exploring other potential timelines and alternate realities. Next, in other related news, Peaky Blinders is heading to the big screen. The 6th and final season of Peaky Blinders finally dropped on Netflix a couple of weeks ago, and while it did tie up a lot of loose ends in Tommy Shelby's story as he deals with the death of his Aunt Polly and his daughter, we didn't get a true conclusion to the saga. However, it seems like we're about to get exactly that, not in the form of a season 7, but as a feature film. According to the show creator Stephen Knight, the film will be set in and shot in Birmingham. Speaking to Digital Spy, he said that fans can expect the movie to release in either 2024 or 2025, and that it'll be the end of the road for Peaky Blinders as we know it. Apparently, Knight's main goal is to surprise viewers with a compelling plot while also bringing new young actors into the mix. With that said, he refused to confirm whether Cillian Murphy would be coming back to reprise his role as Tommy Shelby or not. And now, the Umbrella Academy could wrap up by season 4. We just got our hands on the 3rd season of Umbrella Academy, which also marks the first time that it's moved away from the source material. Of course, if you don't know, the critically acclaimed show is actually an adaptation of My Chemical Romance singer Gerard Way's graphic novel. However, since he's still writing the novel, the showrunners had to split away from its storyline and carve their own path for season 3. With that said, it seems like the series could actually wrap up by the time we hit season 4 regardless, as according to the showrunner Steve Blackman, he's already got a perfect ending in mind. Speaking to The Wrap as part of his press tour, he said that if the series were to get renewed for a season 4, it's definitely gonna go toward an endgame. Now, he did say that there's a chance of extending the show to a 5th season, but apparently that might not lead to the most satisfying conclusion. It's worth noting though that Netflix hasn't renewed the Umbrella Academy for a 4th season yet, so who knows whether we'll even get to that point. Knowing the show's popularity, however, it's only a matter of time until another season gets greenlit. Finally, a Stranger Things spin-off show might be happening after all. Stranger Things is easily the crown jewel in Netflix's catalog, and with season 4, it definitely seems like the show's taken things to a whole different level when it comes to storytelling and visual effects. As a matter of fact, the Netflix production is actually one of the most expensive TV shows ever made. But, of course, the positive reception and viewership numbers are enough of a reason to keep going. Sadly though, season 5's gonna be the last time we see Eleven and the gang on our screen, as the show slowly ramps up toward an epic climax. However, according to the Duffer Bros, who are the creative force behind Stranger Things, they wouldn't mind making a spin-off series after they've wrapped up the 5th season. In an interview with Variety, they said that they've been developing this side project in tandem with the main show, and once they're done filming season 5, they'll pivot over to this new story. Obviously, you never want to be bogged down by necessity, especially if you're a creative mind. And that's what the Duffer Brothers think as well, as according to them, they wouldn't have done a spin-off series solely for the sake of generating revenue. Like, there's gotta be a good story to tell in the Stranger Things universe for it to happen. That's a wrap for this video. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.